Ten of Swords reversed. The reversed Ten of Swords indicates that you may finally have reached a clear and balanced perspective about your life and its immediate circumstances. Take one step at a time, and trust yourself. General, you may have recently come through a very difficult time when the reversed Ten of Swords appears, and indeed, the worst may be over. You have come up with some solutions and plans to improve your situation, and that's a good thing. Just be sure that you don't make the same mistakes which contributed to the problem that you just solved again. Be sure that you see your own role in the matter. Work. This card may indicate that there are serious problems in your workplace. This doesn't have to be the end of the world, or the end of your job, but ignoring these problems will not make them go away. You have reached the point where you can now see what is best for you. Your thinking is clearer. Take some quiet time to decide what your next moves are. Is it really best for you to stay where you are? If looking for work, you may be looking in the wrong places. Rethink. Love. You may have already taken steps to improve an existing love relationship when this card appears. If so, that's a good thing. However, more work may be needed if this relationship is to survive. Remember that any relationship takes two. Problems are almost never entirely the fault of one party. If you are looking for love, it's possible that you think that you are more ready for a long-term commitment than you actually are. Give this some deep thought. You don't have to conform to society's expectations, unless they are truly right for you. Finances. The reversed Ten of Swords can indicate that you have taken some constructive and important steps to improve your financial situation. This is a good thing. It's easy to fall back into old, bad habits, however. Be vigilant and careful. You are on the right track, stay there. Health. You are taking or thinking of taking some steps which will indeed improve your health situation. Try not to think about the whole rest of your life, focus on today. Take one step at a time. If you are in need of healing, allow yourself to believe that you deserve to get better. Ask for any help that you may need. Spirituality. The reversed Ten of Swords can mean that you have finally overcome some extremely painful parts of your past. Now it's time to look forward. What do you want to see your life look like a year from today? 5 years from today? Know that in spiritual communities, people pass in and out of favor just like they do in any other community. Don't take such things too seriously. Taro History. The history of the tarot is shrouded in mystery. Very little in the way of concrete information is known about its origin, although many things have been written about it. We will probably never know the truth, as fact and fiction seem to be irrevocably mixed nowadays. The tarot originated in northern Italy in the early 15th century, sometime between 1420 to 1440. Despite the fact that it is often attributed to originating from China, Egypt, India, or Morocco, to name just a few, there is absolutely no evidence that this is the case. Nor, as is often quoted, is there any evidence whatsoever that the tarot was brought to Europe by the Romanis. The name tarot is often attributed to being Egyptian, Hebrew, or Latin. This is not the case. The earliest names are all Italian in origin. The cards were originally called carte de triomphe. Around 1530 the word tarocchi began to be used to differentiate them from a new game of triumphs that was in vogue at the time. The etymology of this new word is unknown. The German variant was known as tarot and the French tarot. The symbolism for the tarot is drawn from the culture of medieval and Renaissance Europe. The tarot subjects are distinctive to European Christendom. The symbolism does not come from Egypt or any of the other exotic locales often mentioned. It is often stated that modern-day playing cards evolved from the tarot. This is not the case. Modern-day playing cards came to Europe courtesy of Islam. They were an adaptation of the Islamic Mamluk cards. They appeared quite suddenly in many different European cities between 1375 and 1378. These early cards had suits of cups, swords, coins, and polo sticks, and courts consisting of a king and 2 male underlings. The tarot adds the Fool, the trumps, and a set of queens to this system. Sometime before 1480, the French introduced cards with the now familiar suits of hearts, clubs, spades, and diamonds. The Joker is not original to either the early form of modern-day cards, or to the tarot, but instead originated in the USA around 1857 and was used as a wild card in poker as well as the highest trump in euchre. It is also often stated that the Catholic and Protestant churches outlawed the tarot and all who used it in an effort to stamp out so-called heretical teachings. This is not the case. The Inquisition documented what the Church considered as evidence of heresy in great detail. The tarot was not even mentioned. After the Reformation, less controversial images for the Pope and Papess were substituted by card makers as the Church had objected to the original images. It is often said that the tarot was not used as a divination tool prior to 1781. The tarot was used as early as the 16th century to compose poems describing personality characteristics. There is historical evidence that in one case at least these verses were presented as relating to the person's fate. In other words, divination. Divinatory meanings were assigned to the tarot in Bologna in the early 1700s, and this is the first unambiguous evidence of tarot divination. Ordinary playing cards were connected with divination as early as 1487. It is not unreasonable to think that the tarot was also. The tarot has often been attributed with being a pillar of Western esoterica occultism. This is certainly not the case. The first occult writers to discuss the tarot were Court de Gabellin and the Comte de Mellet in 1781. The tarot was not mentioned in any occult work for the first 350 years of its existence. The terms Major Arcana, Minor Arcana, High Priestess, and Hierophant are anachronistic when referring to the older tarot decks. The historically appropriate terms are the Trumps and the Fool, the suit cards, Papess or Popess, and Pope. Likewise, Pentacles and Wands are relatively recent substitutions for the traditional suit names of coins and staves or batons. The original Italian titles of the cards were in some cases different from the later French titles that have become familiar to us through the Tarot de Marseille and its descendants. Also, the ordering of the trumps varied considerably in Italy where the cards originated. It is not known which ordering is the earliest one. Even the number of cards in the deck varied a great deal. So care should be used in making statements about the original meaning of the cards based on the familiar titles and ordering. Many believe that the Waite-Smith Tarot is the original, standard, or most authentic tarot deck in existence. This is absolutely untrue. The Waite-Smith/Rider-Waite deck was created in 1909. Not even 100 years ago, making it a relative newcomer in the almost 600-year history of the tarot. There is actually no definitive version of the tarot.